Yeah, I think it's good to talk about this because he posted it a few weeks ago, and the idea of like an index is very interesting sounding to me. So we'll kind of just blow through here at the key details. So he says, I think it's time to talk about Sigma protocol and how I see it fitting into the current Pulse Chain ecosystem and how I can hope it will shape the future of it. I've made enough posts about liquidity and entropy. Even some my terms like liquidity web have become commonplace now, so it's nice to know you guys listen. In short, we need products that reward good behavior, but not just for itself, but the whole chain. Hex does this for itself. Hedron and Icosa, I think he even typoed his own coin there. IC do this for themselves, and Hex, etc. Very few things are out there that are incentivized. That a lot of typos here, Alex, but that's okay. That are incentivizing that behavior for the whole chain that aren't liquidity products. Liquidity is great, but it also just has a neutral effect. Can be good, can be bad. On a side note, the LPX guys seem to have everything cool or have something cool. I think I still need some more time to know 100% how I feel about it, but I do think it's worth looking into and making your own decisions about. Anyways, on to Sigma protocol. The TLDR, without giving up any secret sauce, it's a multi-layer or a multi-index protocol. Think things like SPC, IXIC, DJI, etc., in traditional markets. It has multiple index strategies to choose from. Equal weighted is, of course, one, but there are others. You can bundle a number of tokens together, and it will create a singular index token that represents the bundle and strategy. After funding, the only way in, out of the index is stables. There are some really important nuances. One, the tokens in the index are not liquidity. They are specifically held outside of LP pools. Many tokens in, one out, reduces entropy of the system state, no impermanent loss risk from LP. That's cool. Because of the direct stable input-output redemption mechanism, the only pair that makes sense with the resulting index token is stables or coins with massive stable pairs like ETH and Pulse. Number 3, onboard ease by one token and hold the representation of many. Easy to also create alternative bridge markets where the other side of the bridge only needs one pair with a stable to provide viable ARB opportunities and liquidity injection from other chains. Which brings to the final question, how are these indexes in Sigma created? By a custom DAO of sorts. A lot of secret sauce exists in the DAO, so I'm going to be brief for now. There are no restrictions for the DAO. Primarily, I envision other token creators on PulseChain to be the primary holders of the DAO token, maybe some whales and blockchain enthusiasts as well. Anyways, the DAO has the ability to tune many aspects of active indexes, but also create new ones. However, there is one major caveat. When creating a new index, the proposer has to put up DAO token as backing collateral. I don't know if these DAO tokens will have value as they are largely functional. Maybe people speculate on them. I can't control that. But if proposers create bad indexes or include scams in them, they lose their DAO tokens and can no longer participate in the DAO. That's the trade-off. And then he goes on to talk about how Icosa and Hedron are on the back burner right now. And yeah, just some stuff about the chain right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think that sounds wildly interesting, and especially a really good product for somebody who would be new to crypto, doesn't want to, get totally in the weeds of buying each individual token and maybe confused. I think it sounds really interesting, and I think there's probably been efforts to do these kind of things before, but we don't have it on PulseChain, and there's not many examples of it in crypto. So what do you make of it? If you wanted to look at Ryan's response there, you can as well. But I think this is awesome.
Yeah, and he makes a very good statement. He can we just read through this because it is smart. He says, "This is a good idea. I just own all the coins I care about and benefit from the pattern you're trying to simplify by owning them. Technically, what you're suggesting is doing the exact same thing, but having a single token to represent all the tokens in the index. Does it really add any additional value, or does it just encourage longer-term holding because it's an index and an extra step to cash out? Would it have any sort of token yield? I have questions and concerns for every new token that hits the market. Most of them are trash, but I can't ignore innovation if it's the right time to push something new and useful. Smart play." And Alex says there is. He was talking about the yield. But I'm not publicizing how that works just yet. So I think he's got some, he's been thinking this up and thinking it through. I know the whole V2 thing that he was talking about was, let's kind of talk about what that was at first. And that was to keep the Hedron on Ethereum and the Hedron on PulseChain equivalent. He wanted to match them. He wanted them to have equal pairs so that you could trade in and out no matter what it was and have an equal value on both sides. That's what V2 was originally supposed to do. Could this do something like that? It's very possible. Now, here's the thing. You would have to combine a whole bunch of Ethereum tokens and a whole bunch of PulseChain tokens and kind of tie them together in the same index. Would that provide kind of an arbitrage opportunity? Very possibly. And thinking big picture, I have a feeling that's kind of what he wants to do. I mean, most people want these things to have equal value to go in and out of either chain, just like you would with other big coins, right? It doesn't matter which exchange you're on for Bitcoin, you're going to be within a very similar price. Now, it's not a different chain. However, it's a similar scenario. So I think big picture, that's what would be the ideal goal out of this whole thing. But again, he's a much bigger brain than I am, when it comes to designing and creating protocols and ideas and things of that nature. So yeah, I think it's great. I think having it and the one thing that it would encourage would be a longer type holder. You would have people not just getting in and out. You're not promoting traders that are going to continue to dump the price at every little turn. It's an index. The idea is you buy them and hold them. So as far as long-term value, I think it's a fantastic idea. And if you can get yield out of it, even better.
Yeah, and I think it's also valuable not just to make it like harder to sell or whatever, but also easier to buy and hold, because there's many people out there that, think of like the bigger investors, like that potentially get interested in something like PulseChain that don't totally understand blockchain and they don't understand the bridges yet. And, there was a time where we didn't even have Liberty Swap, which, that's becoming a big, easy way for people to onboard now. It's a thing that we always talk about that, when things are harder to buy, that's when the opportunity is there. But, this is one of those efforts to make things even easier to buy. And if you tell some big investor that they can hold a fund of, well, say that I just want to get like the 3 main PulseChain tokens, or 4, or whatever, however you want to look at it, the 2 hexes and PulseX, and hold 1 token, but I want to weigh it this way. I mean, that would be an easy way for somebody to get in. So I think that's valuable. And I'm not saying Ryan was saying this, but not that it's tricking people into holding long term or something, but it's making it easier to buy stuff. Especially if these people have disposable income and they have a big fund that they want to start and they're going to just drop a bunch in and let it go for a while. It's a way easier way to do it. They're not going to manage, bags of all this crypto stuff in multiple wallets like a lot of us psychos do. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yep. I love it. I mean, I hope we hear a lot more from Alex soon. I mean, I think we're going to, with his thoughts like on the cycle and everything here. And,
he's
been perking up lately. With some of this
and just to be clear, he didn't disappear. He in the back often runs a data center that a lot of these places like Hex Scout and Go Pulse and a lot of other entities are using his APIs to maintain price feeds and things like that. So Alex has been around. He's been working hard. I know he was doing a lot of that out of his own pocket. And setting this data center up probably for something very similar to this, to be able to, to manage something of this scale. So pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad to see it here. So